Well, I'm suffering from frustration here. I keep making these videos and my audio is failing. Glory hallelujah, the modern communications. Ain't it great when you're okay, another time theory video. Talked previously about the void. In the previous video, which didn't come across, I had read a article from Scientific American. I just quoted a paragraph from it, which the author, in talking about string theory, referred to Jeremiah, which I thought was interesting, that the books of the Bible, Jeremiah being one of the prophets from the Old Testament, persist even in string theory. They bring up Jeremiah. Scientific American. The void, V space, I call it. V space. There's gravitational space, G space, and there's the void, or V space. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time, because you could spend months trying to contemplate nothing. The Eastern philosophies try to approach that, although their nothing is really something. It's nothing is just pretty difficult. Mathematicians don't like it because mathematics breaks down in a total void without gravity or time, but just this sort of blank slate. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Or in the beginning, there was one moment of time. And so we try to phantom out, well, how did God do this? Or how did this happen? The Big Bang is the most popular, perhaps, theory in that regard in our present century. The article from Scientific American was referring to the Hubble Deep Field Space images that were very clear, and according to quantum theory, those images should be blurred. And so there's problems with quantum theory. And this was in 1998, the article, and it was citing then that maybe it was the end of science. Well, I doubt that. But the other concept, I'll have to get my drawing out here again. One of the foundational concepts in my theory has to do with time moments and lines of duration. Lines of duration. A line of duration is a moment of time in the void, just one moment of time, that has a vector. It takes off in one direction and one direction only. It doesn't go into 4 dimensions because it's not operating in G space. In gravitational space, time extends, is more or less the same. It still has a vector. It still just has one direction, but if you go east or west, time is, as far as absolute time, or obviously if you're just going by the earth around the sun, but we're talking about time in a larger context than that. These lines of duration, I postulate, they must intersect each other at some point, and I call that a time disk. When two lines of duration intersect, you get a time disk. So that time, at least in V space, is a two-dimensional structure, and it's a real structure. In G space, we cannot manufacture a two-dimensional space. It's just a product of imagination. And anyone viewing this could say, well, these time disks are just a product of your imagination, of my imagination. And indeed, I didn't steal, as far as I know, I didn't steal this idea from anybody, or it's my own creation, the time disk. At least the idea of it is my own observation. This time disk, there's a lot to sort of know about it. That's a complex topic that I'm not going to really go into right now. I had also read something about my notebooks. Spherical, pardon my English, a sphere, not a spear, but a sphere, would help if I had put my teeth in, perhaps, cannot contain all space. In other words, circular units cannot contain all space. As you see here, that there are little holes between. If you draw a bunch of circles or put a bunch of balloons in a jar, you'll still have space in there. But if you put a bunch of blocks, a bunch of cuboidal, in other words, cuboidal space can contain all space. And so my speculation is that I think it's been so long that negative space, or V space, and again, mathematicians do not like the idea of negative space. Artists use this concept, but again, it's a product of imagination. While positive space, or G space, what I call G space, is cuboidal. In other words, it's like in the first video with the drawings with the cubes, that it all fits together and there's no holes in it. Well, I'm running out of time. I'm running out of patience with this problem, with these audio problems. So over and out.